not a game everybody saw LA having a chance at, including myself. The Buffalo Bills have been rolling. Josh Allen getting MVP chance in every stadium he goes to because Buffalo Bills fans travel well, but not so fast, my friend. Old Lee Corso, when you're playing Matt Stafford, you better bring your lunch bell and you better bring your offense. And they did. The Buffalo Bills scored 42 points in this game, and I'm sure if they walked in thinking, hey, Josh Allen's going to have 6 touchdowns, he's going to throw for 3, he's going to run for 3, we're going to score 42 points. Khalil Shakir is going to have 5 catches for 106 yards. Amari Cooper, 6 catches for 95 yards. You're like, that's a dub.
No,
not this time. Matt Stafford, 23 of 30, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, didn't get sacked once. You got to give that Rams offensive line a lot of credit because this is a defense that gets pressure on the quarterback. They give a lot of exotic looks. They bring pressure. They get home. And they were not able to sack him once. But Puka Nacua, the game Puka Nacua had was legendary. Some of those catches just left me scratching my head because I couldn't explain it. I mean, the one where he backed up and kind of went over his shoulder, got his feet down, like landed, and then another one on the same sideline, push the defender by, fly by, catch it over his head, like incredible catches. And then the screen for the dagger touchdown to finish this game off. Cooper Kupp doing, 5 for 92 and a touchdown, but doing all the dirty work, blocking, had a huge block on the final Puka Nacua touchdown. It was a really great play, just sacrificing. These guys, Kyron Williams has 29 rushes for 87 yards and 2 touchdowns. They're scraping, clawing, doing everything they can to win these ball games. But Buffalo Bills losing a game like this, after everybody told me that that's the reason why Josh Allen his candidacy was so great. And mind you, Josh Allen really raised his bar and scored 6 touchdowns in this game. So his MVP candidacy for the numbers guy goes up tremendously. But for the argument that everybody's been trying to make about, hey, it's because his team is winning so much, now they have their 3rd loss. Does that change the argument at all? Does that make it better? Is it worse now? Now the Bills got to go to Detroit and beat the Detroit Lions so they could potentially be 10-4, or they can go 11-3. But if they're 10-4, does that change things? Like, that's why this whole thing, that whole idea and that whole argument was not great. And Josh Allen had an MVP-like performance today, 342 yards, 3 touchdowns passing, 3 rushing, 10 carries for 82 yards. Like, that's impact. That's a huge impact. That's MVP candidate. But you have to look at the overall. He's having MVP performances when his team needs him late in the season. That's definitely gonna bolster his chances. But if they lose these games down the stretch and other teams win, that's going to bolster their chance. Like if the Philadelphia Eagles would have lost this game, that would diminish Saquon Barkley's chances. But he just became the all-time leading or broke the single-season rushing record for the Philadelphia Eagles already, and it's only week 14. And so he has 3 more weeks to put up more yards and break it even further and push the envelope. That's what MVP candidates, it's always special seasons, records breaking, leading the league. That's the kind of things you say about MVP candidates. I'm sorry. I know they don't want to give it to a running back, and they're saying you can't give it to a running back anymore and yada, yada, yada. But at some point, you got to look and say, when Jalen Hurts threw for 130 yards this game, something like that. It wasn't a great game from Jalen Hurts by any stretch of the imagination. And if he's playing like that and the Philadelphia Eagles are still winning the games, it's because Saquon Barkley is taking over and he was running his butt off. And that's a story every single week. This team goes as Saquon Barkley goes, and they stumble when Saquon Barkley is not having a great game. He just has not had many bad games this season, so they don't lose. But that's my little TED Talk for the day, Mitchell. The Buffalo Bills have a tough week next week against the Lions. We already talked about the Rams going to San Francisco to play my San Francisco 49ers. I'm excited to be there for that week, for that game.
The LA Rams are 7-6. The Seattle Seahawks are 8-5. The LA Rams, if they play like this down the stretch, they're healthy. They're getting all their playmakers involved. Seattle's doing the same thing, and they're looking a hell of a lot better. Do you have that much faith the Seattle Seahawks can hold this team down with 4 games remaining in the schedule?
Well, anything can happen. I mean, I can't say I predicted any of this to happen the way it did. And so I don't know. If the Seattle Seahawks keep winning, they control their destiny. And it's always tough when you don't control your destiny. If the Seattle Seahawks keep winning, it's their division. They go away with it. The San Francisco 49ers' only chance is to win it, go in as a wild card team, as the 7th seed. And so there's a lot of things that got to happen there for them to get in as that last wild card team. But win and give yourself the best chance. You know, at this point, I think they got to win every game. They got to win out. And just to give themselves a shot at 10-7 and at 10-7, you know, I'm sure they'll have an argument. You know, I'm not sure they have every tiebreaker, honestly, but that will be giving themselves the best chance. And these guys are continuing to fight hard. They're going to get healthier. And if they do get in those playoffs, it's going to be a very difficult team to beat. They're going to be a very difficult team to put out of these playoffs. And so we'll see.